Welcome to SDCERS 2021 Annual Membership Meeting, and thank you for joining us. I'm Cynthia Queen, the Member Services Director at San Diego City Employees Retirement System. SDCERS is the defined benefit retirement system for the City of San Diego, the Unified Port District, and the San Diego County Regional Airport Authority. Each year, SDCERS holds an annual meeting to provide an overview of the health and longevity of your retirement system. The theme of this year's meeting is Today, Tomorrow, Together, because we want our members to know that no matter what's happening now or in the future, we will face any challenges together. Today, you will be hearing from our Chief Investment Officer, Liza Christofi, our Deputy Chief Executive Officer, Marcel Voorhees-Rossman, our CEO, Greg Rodemaker, and me. I'll now turn it over to Liza Christofi.
Thank you, Cynthia. I will be covering performance for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2021. Turning to the next slide. This chart shows the change in market value during the fiscal year. The portfolio began the year with a value of $8.3 billion and ended the year at a value of $10.3 billion. This equates to appreciation or growth in market value of $2 billion. As the stock market has continued to move higher in fiscal 2022, we are now at a market value of a little over $11 billion. Turning to the next slide. This shows the historical market value of the portfolio going back to 1999. At the end of the fiscal year, the portfolio was at its highest level in the history of SDCERS. And while this chart shows significant growth in value, you can see that we have also weathered two major stock market declines. The first was the global financial crisis of 2008-2009, when the market value declined from $5 billion to $3.7 billion. And again, during the first quarter of 2020, at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, the market value declined from $9 billion to $7.8 billion. However, because we have a fully diversified portfolio, some of that equity market risk was mitigated and the downturns lessened, which allowed the portfolio to recover more quickly. Turning to the next slide. This slide shows you the return for the fiscal year, which was 24.9%, compared to the benchmark at 24.4%. This is the highest return since 1986, when we had a return of 26.6%. And while this year's return is extraordinary, we would expect more normalized returns moving forward. The key driver of overall returns for the year was stocks. US stocks were up 46% and non-US stocks up 39%. In the US, the economy continued to recover from the almost 33% contraction in economic activity following the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. Earnings for companies in the S&P 500 are estimated to be up almost 43% this year, moderating to a 9% increase next year. In Europe, corporate earnings are estimated to be up 56% this year, and emerging markets up 55%. As you know, strong corporate earnings tend to lead to higher stock prices. On a relative basis, the return of 24.9% versus the benchmark can be attributed to active investment managers outperforming their respective benchmarks. And in fact, all public market sectors of the portfolio outperformed their benchmarks. Another important component of the portfolio is the allocation to bonds. The 20% allocation to bonds at the end of the fiscal year represents the risk-reducing component of the portfolio. With interest rates continuing to be low, there was not a lot of return to be had from that sector, although our active bond managers outperformed their benchmarks due to their exposure to mortgage-backed securities, which benefited from the strong housing market. The private equity allocation performed in line with stocks, up 46%. Private equity is essentially where we're investing in companies that are privately held and not traded on an exchange like public stocks. Exposures to venture capital companies, which are newer startup companies, and the technology industry drove the strong performance. The real estate sector continued to recover from the impact of the pandemic, returning 3.2%, and overweight to the industrial sector, primarily in warehouses, and other niche sectors such as senior living, self-storage, and healthcare led to outperformance versus the benchmark. The Opportunity Fund, which is an allocation to strategies that don't fit neatly into the portfolio or that arise out of dislocations in the market, turned in a good performance of 18.7%, although it did underperform its benchmark. And this was largely due to the fact that most of the investments in the Opportunity Fund had a fixed income component, like real estate debt and corporate debt, which could not keep up with the strong stock returns. You will also note that longer-term performance for the 3, 5, 10, and since inception periods all looks very positive. Turning to the next slide. This slide shows the actual asset allocation as of June 30th, 2021. You can see that SDCERS has a well-diversified portfolio and is also diversified within asset classes. You will note the almost 20% allocation to US fixed income or bonds, which is highlighted in yellow. While this allocation is currently providing low returns in this low interest rate environment, the role of US fixed income is to act as downside protection and to provide liquidity. A recent example of this is during the first quarter of 2020, when US stocks were down almost 30%. That compares to US fixed income returns, which were actually up 2.1%. All of the blue and purple slices comprise the return-seeking allocations. Equities provide growth and act as an inflation hedge, and the portfolio is invested in US stocks, non-US stocks in both developed markets like Europe and emerging markets like Brazil, Russia, India, and China. Emerging market debt provides a diversified source of return with returns that are expected to be higher than US bonds. The private equity allocation generates potentially higher growth than stocks and is also a diversifier. The portfolio is broadly diversified by strategy, such as buyouts and venture capital, and industry, such as consumer-related companies, energy, financials, healthcare, technology, and telecommunications. Infrastructure provides a diversified source of growth and provides inflation protection. Real estate's role in the portfolio is to generate current income, act as an inflation hedge, and adds diversification. Within the real estate sector, we have exposure to the 4 main property types, which are office, apartments, retail, and industrial. The industrial sector has been very strong lately and has been driven by consumer trends toward online sales. SDCERS portfolio is overweight this sector and has exposure to 2 Amazon distribution facilities. Other niche sectors, such as senior living facilities, provide additional diversification, and demand is being driven by demographics. Over the next 15 years, the population of individuals over the age of 75 is expected to grow 52%. And last is the Opportunity Fund, which is an allocation that allows SDCERS to have the flexibility to invest in other strategies that can add diversification or provide additional return. At the end of the day, the goal of a diversified portfolio is to generate a fair risk-adjusted return to support the long-term soundness of the fund. And with that, I would like to turn it over to SDCERS Deputy CEO, Marcel Voorhees Rossman. Thank you.
Thank you, Liza. Our theme this year is Today, Tomorrow, Together. Liza talked about where we are today with our portfolio. I'd like to talk about one of the factors impacting how SDCERS plans for tomorrow. Liza specifically mentioned that the population of individuals over the age of 75 is expected to grow significantly. With that in mind, let's look at the next slide. Retirees are living longer. In the US in 1910, life expectancy was about 50 years. Retirement age was about 74 years old, so very few people made it to that retirement age. If you were fortunate enough to make it to retirement, you were retired for on average for about 7 years, and at that time, less than 1% of the population was retired. Let's look at how this impacts SDCERS on the next slide. In 2020, life expectancy in the US was about 76. SDCERS members were retiring at an average age of 56, and they were retired for 25 years. At this time, about 26% of the US population was retirement age. The next slide looks a little bit about what happened between 1910 and 2020. There are a lot of numbers on this slide. The important takeaway is the trends. Life expectancy since 1910 has been steadily increasing. The average age of retirement has been steadily decreasing, and the combination of those two means we have more and more members who are retirement age population. So how does SDCERS plan and manage for these changes? In 2018, SDCERS adopted a funding objective policy that formalized the frequency of experience studies. The experience studies review all of the demographic and economic assumptions that are used to value the liabilities of the portfolio. Most important in these last few studies has been the demographic change in improvements in mortality. In 2015 and 2020, SDCERS recognized that our members are living longer. Additionally, in 2020, SDCERS implemented generational mortality, which recognizes that people are continuing to live longer as we go forward in time. This is an example of how SDCERS is looking at what's happening today and planning for the future. Now to talk more about Today, Tomorrow, Together is our CEO, Greg Rademacher.
Thank you, Marcel. Our presentation theme, as mentioned, is Today, Tomorrow, and Together. And reflecting on the first part of our theme today made me realize how utterly fascinating today truly is. So much is going on today. Regrettably, we do have some dark clouds over our community, like learning to live with pandemic stress. How do we adapt to a virtual world where access to healthcare, banking services, and transportation requires a strong internet signal? And a struggling economy where our lumpy labor market due to unemployment is coupled with worker shortages and rising rents and threatening inflation. However, every dark cloud has a silver lining. There's a growing action in our community to address inequality. Our San Diego mayor is working to improve diversity in the city government. And I'm pleased to share this includes the recent city appointments to the SDCERS board, where we were very fortunate to welcome 4 very well qualified board members who bring a wealth of talent to the board. Additionally, we're all learning new ways to adapt to a socially distanced community. At SDCERS, we are focusing on supporting a healthy workforce to ensure we deliver monthly benefit payments accurately and timely to you, our members. Some ways SDCERS is supporting a healthy workforce is developing remote service capabilities which use virtual in-person service, including our remote call center, where you talk with a real person, remote phone counseling, where you talk with a real person, and remote live webinars, where you interact with a real person. Throughout the COVID pandemic, SDCERS successfully navigated many operational hurdles and made sure the monthly retiree payroll was paid on time. We found ways to serve our members in a manner supporting our community's efforts to regain its health. Today, the SDCERS work teams are pension professionals dedicated to finding new ways to ensure we continue to deliver accurate and timely benefits to our members and ensure the investment portfolio's safety, integrity, and growth. Now, thinking about our theme, Today, Tomorrow, Together, what will tomorrow bring? What comes to mind first is benefit security. SDCERS is here to ensure your promised benefit payments are paid to you each and every month. SDCERS offers a lifetime of security to you, our members, by prudently and responsibly maintaining and growing the trust investment portfolio. This includes ensuring our actuarial assumptions and methodologies fund the trust with contributions to avoid the risk of running out of money. Today, our pension plan's funding status is considered healthy, with a strong strategy to attain 100% funding over a very reasonable period of time. Each year, SDCERS reviews the plan's funding status and every 3 years challenges the funding calculations actuarial assumptions to ensure they best reflect what tomorrow may bring. We recently reviewed the funding calculation assumptions as part of the 2020 actuarial evaluation and strengthened them by recognizing our members and beneficiaries are living longer in retirement. While it is encouraging to find more of us are living to older ages, this does cause the plan to be more expensive, and it is prudent to plan for tomorrow with changes today. Adjusting the contribution cost today so employees' pension is funded by the generation of taxpayers that receive the employee services is a cornerstone of the SDCERS intergenerational equity funding objective. The SDCERS 11 billion investment portfolio is more than enough to cover all current retiree and beneficiary benefit payments for their expected long lifetimes. This is your benefit security. SDCERS is doing well and is well positioned to ensure you are paid your promised benefit today, tomorrow, and forever. Thinking about our theme today, tomorrow, together, what are we doing together? Now, this may sound like a cliche, but we are all in this together. The SDCERS board, staff, and consultants, together with our retiree organizations, active member organizations, and plan sponsors, each have an important role in ensuring the health and ability for SDCERS to complete its mission to deliver accurate and timely benefits and ensure the trust fund's safety, integrity, and growth. For example, the plan sponsors define the benefit plan design and reliably pay their required employer contributions into the SDCERS trust. Retiree organizations such as REA and RFPA play a vital role in monitoring ongoing developments in the public employee retirement provisions, advocating for the interests of its members, monitoring activities affecting SDCERS, speaking before the SDCERS board and city council on issues of interest to retirees, and meeting regularly with the SDCERS CEO and staff and representative from the mayor's office. For the city's plan, it's been great to see the plan sponsor working together with the active member organizations to find a path forward to reopen the closed portion of the city's plan. The SDCERS board established a set of core values as a guide in safeguarding and delivering your pension benefits as we all work together. They are customer service, accountability, professionalism, fiduciary, integrity, and transparency. SDCERS is excited about today and tomorrow and looking forward to collaboratively working together with our retiree organizations, active member organizations, and plan sponsors. As we are here together today, please give me one more minute to share the news. SDCERS board unanimously appointed Karina Coleman as its board president. Karina is an accomplished investment management professional with a wealth of leadership experience. On her journey to be our SDCERS board president, she served as our board vice president and investment committee chair. President Coleman is supported by Vice President Paul Kaufman, Disability Committee Chair Charlie Hogquist, Business and Governance Committee Chair Bobby Spoon, Investment Committee Chair Clifford Shearson, and Audit Committee Chair Lana Radchenko. We are blessed to have these volunteers on our board, along with all of our board members, today, tomorrow, and together. Thank you. Sending it to you, Cynthia.
Thank you, Greg. I didn't really think we'd still be meeting virtually, but here we are, and look what we have learned. Today, we continue to serve our members remotely. At the same time, we continue to plan for tomorrow. And one thing I have learned for certain, we all need to embrace some technology to succeed together. Since remote working was implemented, our staff has conducted more than 1,000 retirement appointments via telephone. I am thankful for staff's commitment to customer service. What we found is the new format pushed us to develop new tools and resources to educate members about their future retirement benefits. Members who have not yet retired are encouraged to attend pre-retirement webinars held monthly. Members are encouraged to start the retirement process online, as this provides an excellent overview of the benefit choices to be made, and members can run their own benefit estimates prior to their appointment. For each retirement appointment, the counselor emails the member and provides the appointment details, as well as links to documents and resources on each of the retirement decisions. Members are encouraged to watch a short video on retirement, which helps simplify the concept. And we created a detailed retirement checklist provided to each member so they can follow along at their appointment and take notes of the important details. Our retirement counselors have fine-tuned their virtual counseling skills, and we can adjust to our members' varying technology. Members can sign their retirement application using DocuSign or by simply signing the document they print and then scanning and emailing it back. For a small group of folks, we exchanged information via regular mail, and that worked as well. That's integrity in serving our members with additional needs. And also, we tell each member about the retiree associations. As all of you know, technology is constantly changing. We have embraced so many aspects of technology in our lives, yet every one of us has experienced some type of technology challenge. SDCERS has also had technology challenges to overcome. How many of you have had a day where your cell phone service has an outage or your internet connection can't handle all the needs of your household? That's happening all over the world. All businesses must continue to adjust to the changing demands and limits of the world. Cybercrime is a very real and daily threat. Cyber criminals use computer networks to attack a person's confidential information and financial health. SDCERS uses extremely secure technology and constant monitoring of our systems, and we have thwarted thousands of cyber hacking attempts. All businesses utilize firewall security to prevent cyber hacking, and sometimes this means your email or the attachments won't go through. This is a challenge for every email provider in the world, and as end users, we must learn how to use the tools we have. It is by leveraging technology that enables SDCERS to continue to pay you on time. And every month, without fail, you receive your retirement payment directly deposited into your bank account. I like to think that's professionalism. As you'll recall, SDCERS implemented a remote call center function early in the pandemic, so we can continue to serve you while much of our staff continues to work remotely. We will be glad to assist you over the phone, but first, you must provide information to confirm your identity before we will provide any account information to you. That is because we care about your personal information and we won't give it to anyone else. I highly encourage you to register and utilize our secure online member portal, because once you have registered, you can securely access your account at any time. Let's take a look at our public website now. Everything you want to know can be found here, and if you are trying to plan for your future, check out the Resources tab. Here you will find a summary of all the plan tiers. Just search by your plan sponsor and hire date. You can also review frequently asked questions and fact sheets on every SDCERS topic you can think of. Very importantly, we have all the information you need to plan for your retirement appointment. Now let's take a look at the secure member portal feature. Just like your bank account, credit card, or investment accounts, SDCERS implemented a secure online portal to enable you to access your information easily. Just go to SDCERS website and click on the member portal. Follow the steps to register and keep track of your account information and password, just like you do for all your other accounts. Once you're in your member portal, you can view lots of information and you can conduct transactions. Your portal menu varies by your member status. For those not yet retired, you can use the member portal to estimate your future retirement benefit under various situations. If you are currently working for an SDCERS plan sponsor, but have not yet earned the service credit needed to retire for your plan tier, you can see what your future retirement payment will be once you meet the required service and age. If you're already eligible to retire, but not sure you are ready, you can use the estimate tool to play with future retirement dates and an increased salary to see what options your future might hold. If you have enough service credit to retire, but you are not yet age eligible, you also have options to check out. If you have enough service credit to retire, you could stop working before your retirement date and then retire when you become age eligible. To run this estimate, you would enter a date in the field called Select Different Last Day of Work, and then select a future date as your retirement date. For our members who are already retired, the member portal is where you access your monthly pension payment details. I want to emphasize that this is the most secure way to receive your payment information, and it is also a prudent use of the SDCERS Trust Fund, and we take our fiduciary duty to you very seriously. Another useful feature on the member portal is your tax reporting information. We strive to have your 1099s processed as quickly as possible each year, and we also provide these forms on the member portal for your convenience. Now, planning for the remainder of your life is part of retirement, right? That's accountability to our loved ones. I encourage you to inform your family of the beneficiary details of your pension, and this information is easily accessible under the beneficiary tool. The annual supplemental benefit and Corbett settlement will be paid this year to those who are eligible in November. On your member portal, you can see the history of your annual supplemental benefit and Corbett payments. We make every effort toward transparency. The SDCERS team is available to assist you, whether we are working in the office or remotely. Feel free to call us or utilize the website and member portal. We'd like to thank you for watching and for partnering with us today, tomorrow, and always working together.